In this presentation, I will explain what is self-perception theory, reactance theory, and self-determination theory. What exactly is self-perception theory? And here I will explain it. Self-perception theory states that our attitudes are explained by our own behaviors. We generally determine our attitudes and preferences by interpreting the meanings through our own behaviors. Over time, we develop attitudes which then determine our emotional responses. At times, we interpret our own behaviors, and we also try to explain others as well. Sometimes our perceptions can be either good or bad. It all is based on how we determine those perceptions. We determine our own attitudes and behaviors by watching ourselves in different types of situations. At times, when we are unsure about our feelings or motivations, we will then use our emotions to determine how we feel. Self-perception is influenced by our own behaviors and attitudes in ourselves as well as others. We have our own attitudes and feelings about things, and sometimes those are based on the circumstances on which those occurred from. Self-perception theory argues that people examine two things when making decisions about the cause of their own behaviors. First is just being the behavior itself, and secondly, the environmental forces that are working on inside the individual. Next, I will explain what exactly reactance theory is. Reactance theory explains that people sometimes lose their freedom or lose the option to make their own decisions. Reactance theory has been around and is held up for over many decades. Reactance theory was found and proposed by social psychologist Jack Brem. Reactance theory is also in common to the social psychology term reverse psychology. Most people tend to have the desire to make their own decisions and also the freedom to do so. Sometimes, when our freedom to make our own decisions is taken away, we tend to have negative responses to that. Reactance refers to the negative feelings we have when our freedom is reduced. There are 3 reactions or consequences to reactance theory when your freedom is at stake. 1 being you want it more. 2 being you may try to get back the lost options to make your own decision again. And 3rd being you may react or feel aggressive towards the situation or the person who took your freedom away to begin with. Lastly, I will explain what self-determination theory is. Self-determination explains that people feel some sort of internal motivation to accomplish something. Sometimes we are motivated or driven by deep passion about something. We also may be motivated by our inner love for something as well. And we may also might be forced into something, which then creates our self-determination. We tend to get more satisfaction if we are driven by inner motivation or if we have greater confidence in what we are doing. Having the freedom of action is more beneficial for us because we feel more accomplished in the end. Self-determination theory explains the study of human motivation and personality. Self-determination theory defines how we use intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. It expands on how the motivation is driven by the choices people make without external influence and interference. Self-determination is a vital piece of psychological well-being. Self-determination differentiates between autonomous motivation and controlled motivation. And there I explained the 3 different theories. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you.